A new study published in Current Biology has some good news for secularists. So The Guardian reports, quote, children from religious families are less kind and more punitive than those from non-religious households. Academics from 7 universities across the world studied Christian, Muslim, and non-religious children to test the relationship between religion and morality. They found that religious belief is a negative influence on children's altruism. They say, overall, our findings contradict the common sense and popular assumption that children from religious households are more altruistic and kind towards others. More generally, they call into question whether religion is vital for moral development, supporting the idea that secularization of moral discourse will not reduce human kindness. In fact, it will do just the opposite. Damn. So whenever people say, well, how are you going to raise your kids if you ain't going to bring them up in religion? You ain't going to teach them about Jesus and God and the Bible. Where are they going to get their morality from? How are they going to stop killing people if they don't know about the Bible? Won't they just kill people? It turns out the exact opposite is true. You're more likely to be a dick if you're raised in a religious household. And they say that this does, broadly speaking, generalize across the religions. So it was a very broad, wide sample set here. They say the study included nearly 1,200 children between 5 and 12, and it included kids from U.S., Canada, China, Jordan, Turkey, and South Africa. And they're saying what we already know, which is religion fosters tribalism and punitive thinking. Now, again, that doesn't mean all religious people. That would be ridiculous to say that. But it does mean that statistically speaking, when you compare religious communities versus secular communities and how they raise their kids, all the evidence, according to this, points to the fact that the kids who are raised in secular households are much more likely to be concerned about what you're thinking and what you're feeling. They have more empathy. They have more sympathy. When they're in a religion, it's more likely that they say they'll be punitive. So, if you disobey or you disagree with them in something they believe, the in-group, out-group mentality, that's right there and ready to go. Where, they think you're not in my in-group, whether it's my religion or even, more closely knit, my family or my friends. You're the other. Therefore, I'm going to judge you very harshly, and I'll be a hypocrite, but if I do something bad, well, it's understandable, and I'm a good guy because I'm part of the good group, and I always mean well, so punishment for you, rehab for me. I'll be judgmental of you and non-judgmental of myself and my in-group, whether it's my religion or my family or my friends, or even to go closer, you're just me. So this is, guys, this is what secular people have been saying for so long now. And now we have some great empirical research here to back it up. And again, should it really be all that surprising? No, because when you teach secular kids to be good kids, you're telling them to do it for the sake of doing it. Because the act in and of itself is correct. It is proper. It is right. It is just. You're telling them, hey, every other kid that you see running around here, that's you living in a different body. So you treat them like you want to be treated. And that moral bedrock, that core principle, is something that they get for the sake of getting it. Whereas with religious people, it's more, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm an authoritarian, and the space fairy is watching over you. And if you don't do the thing that I'm telling you to do, well, then there's going to be punishment from the space fairy. And now you're not doing the good action for the sake of doing it. You're doing it because you fear some sort of retribution or revenge against you. Which means, let's say you act badly and nothing necessarily happens. Okay, well, I guess I can get away with this. I guess there's more reason to rebel if you're told this is the way it is because I say so and because something you can't see in the sky dictates it. There's more reason to rebel if you do that. Whereas if you explain to a secular kid, no, here's the reason why you should act like this, because it makes sense to act like this, and you need to view every other little kid as you in another body, And you wouldn't want to hurt yourself, so why would you want to hurt anybody else? When you explain it and you're rational and you're logical, you're instilling values based on the goodness of the values in and of themselves. Whereas with religious people, again, it's more doctrinaire, it's dogmatic, it's authoritarian, and there's no reason to act in such a way. And even if you're trying to teach the kid something good in the framework of that religion, it's much easier to blow it off for the reasons I just stated. So, raise kids with no religion, it turns out they're okay. And as people like Richard Dawkins have brought up before, isn't it really like a form of child abuse to say to your kid, hey, if you act wrongly in this way or that way, you will be tortured forever and ever and ever? Because that's not true, and it's like a threat. There's an implied threat in there. Why would you want to tell your kid that? And as Penn Jillette says, to this idea of like, well, how are you going to stop yourself from killing people if you don't believe in God? Well, I don't know about you guys, but my list of people I want to kill has already been fulfilled. I want to kill a grand total of 0 people. So I'm acting good for the sake of acting good because it's the right thing to do, and it's not like I'm holding myself back because something in the sky is preventing me from doing it. And again, as Penn Jillette says, how many people are on your list? Because apparently the person who would ask that question, it's like, okay, you're saying the reason I don't kill people is because I'm scared of Yahweh. Well, then I don't want to be around you. Because the second you realize that that's a fucking myth, that's mythology, you're liable to go off and shoot somebody in the face. So, the takeaway from this, again, it's something that secular people have been saying for a long time. Now there's empirical research to back it up. And don't take the bullshit line from religious people anymore when they act like you have to raise your kid in something in order for them to understand morality. That's not true. If anything, like they say, the opposite is true. You're likely to be more moral if you're raised in a secular context. And that's not me speaking, that's this study speaking. Take it up with the authors if you have a problem with it.